Box, welcome back, Dave Baker, Australian resident in London, England. So we're going to make him our own. He's British, really. He's trying to kick me at the moment. He's been giving us great tactical analysis throughout the day, and you're here for the semi-final and final tonight, Dave. What do you think about what's in front of us tonight?
Evening, Vash. Evening, everyone. Look, some stunning fences. GRUMIER, BOCZKO, two absolutely world-class athletes, and then I guess combined with another, second, third in the world, Enrique Garozzo. Maybe a slightly surprise package with the Korean fencer Kwon. Not sure what exactly we're going to expect. 38th in the world. I've just had put in front of me, so he's clearly fencing out of his skin today. But I think this has the recipe of an absolute cracker. This GRUMIER BOCZKO. This will. I think we'll get some very, very entertaining fencing going on.
Dave, the GRUMIER's world number one, right? And everybody knows everyone in the world of fencing knows both of these fencers. BOCZKO world number 4, so an expected draw in the semi-finals. Home crowd advantage?
Oh, you heard the cheer when he was announced. You heard the cheer when he went on the piece. I think they'll bring the house down if he can take out the world number 1. And he's so strong. Both of these guys have been absolutely world level for, GRUMIER since Beijing, since the Genet brothers retired, GRUMIER's taken over the mantle of, that obligatory Frenchman at the top of the men's épée rankings. And what did we hear? BOCZKO, 3 times European champion. Stunning stuff. Absolutely stunning stuff. And plenty of home support for the big mountain from Budapest.
Surprisingly, he was a bronze medalist at the European Championships last year, but no medals in this particular season. The last medal at a major championships, other than the European Championships, was a silver medal at the World Cup in Paris back in May last year for BOCZKO. So first silverware for a while.
Oh, it's good to see. I think there was some talk, certainly last season he was having a very, very tough time of it. I refereed him in a couple of pools and competitions, and was really struggling going out in the 96 or even earlier than that. Great to see. That's what the best athletes do, right? They get better as the most important competitions loom. And look, you want to be on this kind of form leading up to the Olympic Games. It's great to see.
Absolutely, and GRUMIER, of course, is the current European champion, so he went 2 better than BOCZKO at the European Championships, and he's the current or reigning silver medalist from the World Championships. Picked up a bronze at the Tallinn World Cup and won Heidenheim, perhaps the biggest and most famous épée tournament on the circuit, and perhaps even the most famous fencing tournament on the circuit.
Absolutely. Heidenheim, the Wimbledon of fencing. It's the competition everybody wants to win. I think it was actually great to see him when he got to win Heidenheim. He's always been that athlete where, certainly in individual competitions, we associate with the silver medal rather than the gold medal. As you say, last World Championships, the home World Championships in Paris in 2010, where he got beaten by Novoslov. I think hopefully we're starting to see GRUMIER he had so many podiums, countless podiums. But unfortunately, I'd say for him, probably the wrong colour. I'd like to see a few more gold medals around his neck.
But both these guys are vying for places in their respective teams for the Olympic Games. I mean, they've got to be nailed on, right, for their teams?
I mean, for both of these sides, they've got to be the first name on the team sheet. They're just associated. You think of French épée, you think of GRUMIER. You think of Hungarian épée, you think of BOCZKO. These guys are the poster child for their respective for their countries in men's épée. I think we'll see both of these guys very much the high seeds going into the Olympic Games in Rio, and we expect to see them on the finals podium like we are this evening.
Well, here it's been a fairly frantic start to the first semi-final of the men's épée. It's GRUMIER, the world number 1, leading, but only by 1 point, and we haven't yet seen some of the trademark fireworks from BOCZKO. They're trying to just up the pace a little bit, missing to the foot.
Yeah, I think they're just working each other out. The distance is very close. Lots of opposition, lots of taking the blade in sort of the lower third, which means that they're confident enough that they think that they can find those counter-attacks and find those late ripostes. Be interesting to see maybe once they get a bit of advice from their respective coaches, if they just want to open that out a little bit more and make it a bit more flowing. I think we've seen in that first period, we've certainly seen a very, very close encounter, lots and lots of blade control, lots of preparation attacks. Let's see if we can get anything, any hand gestures. No, just a quick 10-second chat from the Hungarian national coach. I think Gabor knows what he needs to do.
Well, GRUMIER there, having a drink of water. We get a couple of the replays of the hits in that first period. GRUMIER on the left.
Yeah, just some early touches around the hand, just feeling it out, not giving too much away.
You see, it looks fast in slow motion. That's what's really fascinating, because slowing it down really helps describe the actions. But even when you see it in slow motion, you do definitely see the acceleration, and that's the real key to this sport.
Especially, right? And looking at the, as you said, the pronation of the hand, so that's almost the angle of the hand he has, Gabor had there to hit the left-handed fencer. Made sure the point lined up exactly. Very classy early on in the match.
Well, the minute rest is over now. We're back underway. Remember, this is the first semi-final here at the Budapest Grand Prix in the men's épée event. David's confirmed we're very likely to see both these fencers at the Olympic Games, so now it's about ranking points and of course about silverware. They're going to want to win. Oh,
absolutely right. And the FRA has done such a good job of promoting the Grand Prix, the amount of coverage, social media and the traditional print media, for not just being on the podium but for winning these things. It's certainly something you really want to do. Sort of, I was talking to a few of the athletes today, and they do feel like sort of mini world championships, these Grand Prix. Everyone loves just what these Grand Prix in such a short period of time, in only 2 years focusing on the Grand Prix, they look phenomenal.
We got a brilliant slow motion replay of the footwork that surrounded that hit, and I think now we're going to see it itself.
I just caught him napping. Lovely timing.
And he's staying very active. He's on his toes the whole time. BOCZKO almost slightly more patient in his footwork, just pressing, holding a slightly longer guard, but didn't seem to fully extend his arm there.
No, it was almost that big step and sort of tried to flick. Tried to flick to the upper arm and just missed. Fairly simple counter-attack there by GRUMIER. He's certainly imposing himself on this fight, really keeping the home crowd very silent.
I know it's early in the day, but when are we going to see the fireworks? And as soon as I say that, there they are, the Hungarian fireworks coming out of Gabor BOCZKO, and now some noise from that home crowd.
Unbelievable stuff. Riposte and counter riposte, and finally a crossing cart for the counter riposte.
Oh, there must have been 5, 6, maybe even 7 attempts there from BOCZKO. He was just relentless.
Phenomenal.
I fear though, if he's going to try and have to win the fight in that manner, he's got to do it pretty quickly, otherwise he's going to run out of steam. Oh,
absolutely. I think he's just looking at new ways. It's new ways to get through. GRUMIER is a tough wall to get through when you're behind. He's just relentless, and that left-hand French grip, as you see, just doesn't leave the target. Even if he finds the parry, it just slips off. Not sure if we'll get a replay, but it just slips off onto the upper arm.
Well, it's an interesting point there. You said talking about the pommeling and the strength. Oh, that is beautiful. The beautiful beat of the blade knocks his opponent's blade out of the way. BOCZKO was then a sitting duck, hit to the upper leg. Hopefully we get a replay there.
Yeah, not the first time he's been caught just taking that big step, and he just can't. Gets trapped after that big preparation. GRUMIER's been absolutely relentless at picking him off with any footwork mistakes. Probably four touches like that, I reckon, now. very light on his feet, and just that point's always there threatening that forward target. It's very hard, especially when Gabor's usually physically imposing himself on the match.
Oh, that's good here from BOCZKO, though. He lands a beautiful attack. Now, what I was about to say, just before he landed that, is he's trying to try and pick off a couple of hits now, get to that third period, and then maybe get down to the last minute, and then we just start seeing the scrap. But that is a complete opposite to GRUMIER's neat, controlled, solid, strong, point-in-line style.
Yeah, I think he'd certainly be wanting to grab one more single light before the break, have another drink, speak to your coach. Still a long way to go in this match, but it's just everything. GRUMIER seems to have an answer for everything. Any mistake just results in a hit against you, which is very difficult from a confidence perspective.
Yeah, but to me it looks like, despite GRUMIER's opening the lead back out to 5 hits, it does look to me like all of a sudden BOCZKO's found sort of a second wind, and his footwork's just tidied up a little bit as we watch the replay of the failed attack there and the counter landing. GRUMIER ducking the sword arm shoulder there just enough to make the running attack, the flash attack from BOCZKO miss.
Yeah, just enough to push that point over the shoulder. It was a great shot there, just going past the mask. Unfortunately, it's a very, very unforgiving sport when it doesn't go right. You find yourself down very quickly.
Well, turns into a tiny bit of a scrap there. GRUMIER holding his ground, but also, more importantly, holding BOCZKO's sword. Yeah,
I think that's the way back into this match, is really just to a lot of opposition attacks and just try and keep that point away from that forward target of the hand and the forearm. You can't be doing that. You can't be attacking off the blade. It's just too easy for Gotti. He knows it's coming, steps back. He's got even timing just with a carte riposte. Just got all the time in the world. I think BOCZKO's got to get to the break and get his head in order.
Would you expect such a big gap in the score at this point between these two fences?
Oh, clearly GRUMIER's on good form. I think it's probably the way they're fencing. I think the scoreline completely reflects what's going on. I just don't think it's the game that BOCZKO should have played. I think he's allowed good GRUMIER defense is his natural game. His left hand pommeling with the French grip. It's very classical, very upright. I would have expected it's one of those matches that's only gets to 3 or 4 touches. So it's much tighter. Maybe to bring non-combativity into it.
Yep.
I just think if you're trying to fence got to GRUMIER on even terms, you just 99 times out of 100 you're not going to win.
Well, he's not winning here. You mentioned the pommeling, and just to clarify, that's a straight grip that the Frenchman's using to great aplomb at the moment, and it means that he has extended reach because it's a straight grip and he can hold it both by the guard and then right at the end. But also he can vary how long the weapon is.
Absolutely, and it also allows a lot more angulation of the wrist. Even for that last one, you can just push it to cart, which is across the body, and just block out the attack. It's just a very, very nice stop hit.
Well, that is their second break, and GRUMIER goes to talk to his coach, and we're looking now as Gabor BOCZKO just takes a step away from the piece, almost to reset, and you can see there's a little bit of frustration in his hand gestures, not quite sure what to do. He's moving around gingerly as well, I've noticed, but maybe that's not the telltale sign we're all after.
Yeah, just some signalling there, maybe sort of pointing at the body. But I think, if you're going for those sort of later targets, it's got to have the blade.
We saw Hughes Aubry with GRUMIER, and the slow motion replays are just stunning, really help us describe the sport. There was the multiple action attack from BOCZKO. And it's not really that surprising that the Hungarian television production is showing that one in replay a few times. And the crowd are trying to get behind and lift the spirits of Gabor BOCZKO as we go into the final period. Men's épée, first semi-final of the Budapest Grand Prix GRUMIER of France on your left leads 12-5 over BOCZKO of Hungary on your right. Can he do it? Okay.
Pretty unlikely, I'd say. It's just not there. I mean, it's too much attacks off the blade. That step's too big, and GRUMIER knows it and can just attack into it. Yeah, that subtle control of it just hasn't been there, and unfortunately, when you run into this French monster, he's just gonna hurt you.
Well, he's going to pick off those ones every day, though, BOCZKO. You gift wrap it and put it down under the tree. He is going to take it.
That's nice to see. I mean, how many did we see in the second period of him missing those forward targets? I mean, even missing the later ones, the shoulder, which should be much easier to hit. You know, need to be doing that from the beginning.
Still pressing the Hungarian. Has not given up.
Still very light on his feet, the Frenchman.
Yes, bags of energy, but I've definitely seen a rise in energy from BOCZKO as well, and it's sort of almost like a tidiness to his footwork that wasn't there in the early stages. A beautiful acceleration through the lunge there, and you saw on the replay, and again landing that one in the upper part of the body.
Yeah, it's interesting that you'd see earlier in the match those, going for that deep target off the blade. You'd expect Goethe to pick him off, but just as you say, that slightly better control of the timing and the feet means that he's able to create that opportunity. Maybe too little, too late, though.
Well, there's another one, and he's back within 5 hits, and there's still plenty of time here to fashion more hits and build those hits up. He's not rushing. He's not rushing. I know you're not feeling it, are you?
No, he's getting yelled at, and rightly so. GRUMIER's had some very stern words from Hugh Zobry, the French coach. He's just taking steps that are too big and too slow in there. And again, BOCZKO's seen that a mile off, and he's just attacked to the high line. It's just you can't slow down. There's no conserving energy, and then you get a lovely touch like that, which is that's outrageous.
Well, it's almost that GRUMIER acknowledged that was almost a bit of an accident, punching the point, but
phenomenal though, so good, just around the hand.
But that's just you're going to pick up hits like that if you control your point and put it right there, right?
Correct. Absolutely. I think GRUMIER stepped off the gas a little bit here, maybe serving something for the final. Tried to do the same thing again. I think earlier in the match you would have seen him take a big step back, just clear with a higher hand, maybe with a counter attack. Just sort of switched off a little bit for these last couple of touches, very uncharacteristic.
It certainly looks like he's switched back on now. He wants to get this 15th hit, get it done, dusted, go and put his feet up and get ready for a final. But BOCZKO pushing, closing the distance. And then when GRUMIER stepped in to land the attack, it was the Hungarian that finished it off.
Yeah, just not using the piece, just created that situation. Earlier we saw him, we were not afraid to go deep into his territory. Very uncharacteristic. Late on, he's usually such a good finisher.
Well, like I say, he might be conserving some energy for the gold medal match, but he better not conserve too much because BOCZKO is not going to give it away, and he doesn't. And GRUMIER takes the first semi-final here at the Budapest Grand Prix with a 15-10 victory over BOCZKO. I'm sure BOCZKO will